one to the other.
When did your accent change? When did The Sims...
It had to change for Dr. Angelus, but I think it had changed before then. I realised it had got to, and I think I made sure it did.
And so you just did it yourself? You changed the way you spoke?
Yes. Plus the fact that getting insulted all the time by Alistair.
And you did many films with Alistair Sim, but the biggest were, I suppose, Scrooge and then the St. Trinian's films.
Yes. Yes, I mean, Cottage to Let, Scrooge, The Green Man. He was in, I think, 2 of the St. Trinian's films. He wasn't in all 4.
Would he give you advice on film sets? I mean, were you conscious of getting better as an actor? Developing?
Yes. You would play a scene in The Green Man, I remember. And he suddenly said to me, if you're going to do it like that, I'm going to take it. And I thought, what's he mean? And so I thought, and the next time I did it, it was quite different. And he said, good boy. So I got the message.
So what did he mean by take it?
Oh, he'd have to control it. If
right.
I was going to be lacking energy, which is what I think he meant, he'd have to do something about it. I got the message, and it ended up being a lovely scene between the 2 of us, going mad trying to dial 999.
And when you were offered the first St. Trinian's, did you realise straight away that it was a very attractive character to play?
Yes, yeah. I had a theory that Flash Harry was conceived in the bushes in that school and had never been out in the wide, wide world. But no, it was lovely. Really wonderful to play.
I mean, there was a real British film industry at that stage, but were you treated grandly as an actor? What was it like?
No, I wasn't treated grandly. Wasn't paid much either. I think the combination of the St. Trinian's films, which were in the 50s, and the radio series A Life of Bliss, which was about the same time, combined to get me recognised.
You were playing a young man called David Alexander Bliss. Barry Took has written in his book about the recordings of that series, which sound quite extraordinary because the writer was rather chaotic and disorganised and tended not to finish the script by the time of the recording.
That's right. It used to start off very well. The BBC would say, right, we want 4 scripts before we start. So they get 4 scripts, but of course when it came to number 5, he'd only written 10 pages. So we had to come in, we were either at the Aeolian Hall or Playhouse Theatre, and go on stage, start the show with an audience, and then suddenly I would be handed up pages, which I hadn't even seen, but I'd had to go and carry on recording. And then we had one very, very bad time when we were all still there at midnight, and he was downstairs writing the script, and the audience had gone, and I used to go down and see how he was getting on, and he was... and then he'd pick up an empty water jug, fill an empty glass with nothing, drink it, say, I must go to the loo. And then he'd come back and there's another page. Oh.
And Barry Tucker says in the book that the writer, Godfrey Harrison, that his wife would be there frantically trying to encourage him to write some more pages.
Yeah. Well, we had one actress, I can't remember her name, who at 11 o'clock said, no, I've got people coming for supper, I'm going, goodbye. So that meant what we'd already done had got to be adapted as we went on. But it was a very successful series.
You know, it's time you settled down and had a family, Poppet. We must think of some nice girl for you.
Oh, gosh, don't you start. I've had enough of that with Mrs. Griffin.
Don't worry, I wasn't serious.
I know you weren't.
I know who'd be perfect for you. Pauline Massey.
Pauline Massey?
You must have met her, Helen Massey's sister. About 24, awfully pretty. She's the perfect wife for you.
Oh, will I be allowed to see her before I decide?
Yes, of course.
And you did that on television as well, I think.
Yes, I think we only did one series. Because we had the same problem. You know, we were on air in an hour's time, and there's still another 6 pages to come.
And you were doing more and more TV, a man of our times as well in the 60s, but you were coming to be regarded as a comic actor. Was that what you'd always wanted to do? Was that how you saw yourself?
No, I saw myself in David Bliss as a light comedy actor. And I saw myself in the Centrinians as a broad comedy actor. And then Julian Bond created A Man of Our Times. And that was a wonderful part it was 13 episodes in a real-time scheme. In that, in the first episode, he was going to be made redundant. And this was the year in which redundancy became a word everyone understood, whereas they probably hadn't before. And he was given a month to make up, 3 months to make up his mind, either to take redundancy or go and work in Australia. And it was very timely, because we were dealing with strikes, and we were dealing in the series with a strike.
But these labels people use for actors, because often people would describe you as a character actor, whereas in fact all actors play characters, so it's always seemed strange to me. Do they have any meaning for you, those sort of labels?
I think I got my first adult review in a film called My Brother's Keeper, in which I was handcuffed to Jack Warner to escape convicts. And the review in either Picture Show or Picture Goer said, "This young man has a name I wouldn't wish on a house painter, and a face that makes Bela Lugosi look pretty." It was signed B.F. Now, that could have been Brian Forbes. Probably wasn't.
Have you ever asked Brian Forbes?
No.
Were you hurt by that review?
No. I mean, you can't hurt me after that. Because I know I'm not as ugly as Bela Lugosi. And I don't care what house painters think about my name.
Exactly. Amazing snobbery, to pick on a name.
Yes, yeah.
So I suppose, well, what they were trying to say, but in a rather rude way, was that you weren't going to go for romantic leads. So that's what they mean by a character actor, right?
Yes, I think they mean you're not very pretty. Yeah, I think that's what they mean.
The stage acting you kept going, I mean, quite major roles. For example, Christopher Hampton's The Philanthropist, which you did
for 2 years.
2 years in the 1970s. And that, again, I say that's the other side of your acting range, because that was, you were playing an academic in that.
I think that's one of the best plays that's been written in my lifetime, anyway. And it was a mistake to stay in it for 2 years. But after the first year, Michael Codron put my salary up. Put my salary up if I'd stay for another year, which I did. But it became a nightmare towards the end, because I would drive up to London and find myself going into London Airport for no good reason. But I obviously didn't want to go to the theatre. And your concentration was paper thin. I mean, instead of it being stronger the longer you played it, it went the other way. And we were at the Mayfair Theatre, and you had to come out of the theatre through the front of house. There was no stage at all. And I came out one day, and some people were looking for something. And I said, "What have you lost?" And they said, glasses or a lighter or something. So I said, "I think you'll find it's 4 rows further forward," because I'd heard it roll down. But that's the sort of thing that you can't keep it up that long.
Right through your career, it's been important to keep the stage acting going, because some people, once they get film, once they get TV, they think, "I don't want to do that anymore." But you've always kept both.
Yes, I'm not so sure that I would like to be in a chance would be a fine thing, be in a long run in London, because it would mean driving 500 miles a week, and that's the bit I don't like. So I'm very happy to do plays at places like Windsor, which is a lovely theatre, and I've done several plays there with my wife. And as far as touring is concerned, I'm quite happy to do the home counties. But I didn't want to go much further because I like to get home at night.